Welcome back, dear viewers. As ever, we're here to bring you not just polished palace statements or stiff newspaper blurbs, but the real, textured stories unfolding at the very heart of the royal family. And today, it's all about His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, William, who stands on the threshold of history, balancing duty, personal legacy, and the unspoken weight of memory in ways that seem almost poetic. This past week has revealed a dual tapestry of his work, one strand vibrant with national excitement, the other deeply woven with threads of quiet, enduring heartbreak. Because even as William was beaming alongside a squad of elite athletes, sending a clear message that Britain stands united behind them, there was another, more tender milestone playing out in the background, one that reached directly into the echo of his late mother's compassion. It began in the most energizing of settings. Just days ago, Prince William paid a visit that many described as far more than a mere photo call. This was a mission drenched in anticipation and pride. He travelled to meet England's indomitable women's football team, the Lionesses, as they made final preparations to fly to Switzerland and defend the European title they so spectacularly captured on home soil just 2 summers ago. Who could forget that blazing Wembley final? The roars, the tears, the images of women who had become national heroes overnight. That triumph wasn't just a football story, it was a cultural earthquake, reshaping attitudes about sport, possibility, and the power of women leading from the front. Now, as the team readies to do it all again on foreign fields, the pressure is a living, breathing presence around them. Enter Prince William not simply as a royal figurehead, but as the patron of the Football Association, and someone who's long made it clear that this isn't just ceremony to him. Watching him with the players, joking lightly, offering earnest encouragement, it was obvious this was about more than fulfilling a diary obligation. He was there to look each player in the eye and tell them, with the unspoken force of a nation at his back, that they carry more than hopes for a trophy, they carry the pride of a country that believes utterly in them. And it wasn't just for show. Kensington Palace followed up with a message that rippled across social media within hours. Best of luck to the Lionesses at the Women's Euros. Take pride in all that's been achieved and believe in bringing home the win. A short statement, sure, but layered with a gentle command to embrace their history and trust their future. It was William at his best, both royal and reassuringly human. But here's where this story folds into something even more poignant. Almost in the very hour that footage of William laughing with England's brightest sporting hopes was flooding timelines, another milestone quietly arrived, one that reached far deeper into his soul. Because July 1st was not just any date in the calendar. It was what would have been Princess Diana's 64th birthday. And this year, by the strangest, almost poetic symmetry, it also marked precisely 2 years since William launched the project that might become the signature humanitarian crusade of his life, Homewoods. His ambitious, groundbreaking 5-year campaign to prove that homelessness can not only be managed but ended in the UK. Imagine that for a moment. The future king, a man often boxed in by pomp and military salutes, choosing to put his stamp on a cause that carries the faintest echo of his mother's own tender rebellion. Diana, after all, was famous for shattering palace norms by sitting cross-legged on shelter floors, holding hands with rough sleepers, telling the cameras, by her very body language, that every human deserved dignity. Her compassion was raw and risky. She made the press nervous because it was so obviously real. William's Homewoods is Diana's legacy reborn but reshaped into something system-wide, multi-city, an intricate architecture of councils, charities, private firms, and grassroots experts, all pulled together under one royal pledge, that homelessness should be rare, brief, and never repeated. Over these last 2 years, the initiative has laid its groundwork, mapping the hidden rivers of poverty, negotiating local deals, building small but vital housing pilots, drawing in investment. So when July 1st arrived, it was no accident that William chose this moment to write a deeply personal letter, not to newspapers, not even to the public at large, but directly to the 6 city teams, London, Newport, Sheffield, Aberdeen, Belfast, and Lambeth, who have become the front lines of his promise. In this letter, William did what his mother once did in whispered shelter conversations. He acknowledged how hard it was. How tangled the roots of homelessness are in addiction, mental health, family breakdown, economic traps. How fixing it demands more than pop-up beds for a night. And he thanked them. Profusely, from the heart. for carrying forward a vision he had offered in sketches and speeches, but which they had turned into day-to-day, soul-taxing labor. Perhaps most striking was a single phrase that insiders say brought tears to some who read it. William told them he trusted them completely as the project moved into what he called delivery mode. The planning is over. Now comes the roll-up-your-sleeves phase, building homes, securing stable jobs, crafting wraparound services that break the cycle, one hard-won case at a time. And here's where it tightens back to Diana, almost unbearably. Because by choosing this date, by letting this letter and this milestone fall on her birthday, William stitched together a living tribute. Not in marble, not in another statue gazed at by pigeons, but in lives. In actual families who, 2 years from now, might be telling a different story because of something his mother's compassion ignited in him. Then there's Sheffield. Soon, William will travel there personally, not just to cut ribbons or accept polite cheers, but to see these fragile new efforts up close. He will walk streets still bearing scars of post-industrial loss, meet the volunteers building new frameworks of support, speak to people who were once rough sleepers themselves. His advisors say he wants to feel, viscerally, that these plans are becoming reality and to remind everyone that this is no side project. This is the future king putting his name, face, and heart behind a transformation that he hopes outlives him, just as Diana's touch outlived her. So what does this all reveal about William at this moment? It shows a man blending the traditional, almost ceremonial side of monarchy, rallying the nation around football, with a quieter, much deeper inheritance. A son proving that public service can still be tender, urgent, even radical. That the monarchy doesn't have to be frozen in protocol, that it can stretch out a hand just like Diana did, to those the world too often decides to look away from. It's also a portrait of the monarchy itself adapting under enormous, sometimes painful scrutiny. Because William's initiatives are happening alongside an institution still reeling from other, more fractious stories, financial leaks, personal tensions, a public ever quicker to challenge privilege. By focusing so powerfully on causes that feel immediate and universally human, homes, dignity, sport as national balm, William is quietly sketching out what his reign might look like. A reign determined not just to preserve traditions, but to anchor them in service that feels unassailable. What happens next? Well, the Lionesses have flown, carrying the hopes of millions into stadiums where every goal will be weighed against the dreams lit at Wembley 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Homewoods moves into the stage where the metrics get real. How many housed? How many still left behind? William, by all accounts, is bracing to be judged by those numbers, not by polite headlines. As for us, maybe we'll look back on this week years from now and see it as a quiet turning point. A moment when the future king chose to stand shoulder to shoulder with both athletes chasing triumph and with the homeless chasing shelter. When he proved that his mother's legacy was not a ghost story haunting gilded halls, but a living force shaping Britain's next chapter. And isn't that, in the end, the most powerful kind of monarchy? Not one propped up by blind reverence, but one earned daily, painfully, hopefully, through real compassion and lasting change. So tell us, dear viewers, does seeing William stand so firmly behind both the Lionesses and the fight against homelessness change how you view the monarchy's future? Do you see Diana's hand guiding this new chapter? We would love to hear your thoughts, your memories, your hopes for what all this might become. Drop them in the comments below, give this video a like if these stories touched you, and subscribe so we can keep tracing these unfolding royal journeys together. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.